ladies. I didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor with me? I'll be your captain. I'm Steve Harrington.
And I'm Collin.
And I'm Doug, and this is Scoops Ahoy, a Stranger Things podcast where we go week by week, chapter by chapter, taking a look at every episode of Stranger Things. This week, it's Chapter 7, The Bridge, and Collin is here with your recap.
Chapter 7 of Stranger Things 5, The Bridge, debuted on Netflix on December 25th, 2025. It was written by the Duffer Brothers and directed by the Duffer Brothers and Sean Levy. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 6 minutes. It's still Friday, November 6, 1987, and after taking her sweet time exiting the Red World, Max finally wakes up. Everyone is happy for a second before running out the door to find Holly, who escaped long enough to plummet the entire length of the wormhole bridge, only to get frozen in midair by Vecna and then get yanked back up. Mr. Clark, Erica, and Murray successfully trilaterate their signals to find Dustin and track him to the Upside Down at the lab. Will has its all my fault moment with Joyce, and Karen reluctantly agrees to go back to bed while everyone else goes off on their mission. At the lab, poor Mr. Clark has to play catch-up quickly as Mike's second cousin Eleanor from Sweden lobs some telekinesis and gets everyone reunited in the Upside Down. Sullivan is a crispy critter, Akers better watch his mouth, and the whole gang eventually makes it back to the Squawk. Dustin show and tells everyone what's going on with the wormhole and the abyss and starts taking suggestions from the audience. Eventually, Steve figures it out. Let Vecna collapse the worlds long enough for the radio tower to poke through the abyss and then send L in guns blazing to dispatch Vecna. Bing, bang, boom. Dustin says, hey, let's leave a bomb behind too, so they all say, yeah, okay. As everyone is prepping for doomsday, Mike and Robin argue over the butthole surfers, and Steve and Dustin finally patch things up. Finally. Meanwhile, Kali tries talking Elle into a suicide pact, and Erica and Mr. Clark hack the Max Z's gate code so they can get the gang into the Upside Down safely. Before everyone heads out, Will gathers everyone around to announce that he's queer, that Mike was only his Tammy Thompson, and that he loves NASA, getting lost in a tiny small-town mom-and-pop video store and putting Milk Duds in popcorn. The team loads up into the truck, and Murray gets them through, but not before Hopper and Welcome Down Wheeler pull a Rambo on the soldiers. Back at the Creel house, Henry lights more candles than Karen Wheeler has in her entire lifetime history of baths combined, and the trance to end the world begins. The end of Chapter 7.
Woo! Where do we begin?
Where to begin? Just a couple things right off the top. Obviously, this was co-directed by Sean and Matt and Ross, so they never really explicitly said which is which, but I know Sean obviously directed the last episode, which included all the laundromat stuff and the hospital stuff. So I know he directed the stuff with Max, and he also directed the whole stuff with Nancy and Jonathan. So presumably all the lab stuff was also Sean, and then the Duffers did kind of the rest of it. The Duffers did say, and again, you know, those famous things that I always mention, the Netflix, you know, Stranger Scenes, and then the, you know, inside the episode things, that they admitted right up front that this episode was less action and plot heavy and more emotional. And Levy called it kind of a pivot toward the end game. So that's kind of, you know, what they were looking at. Now, obviously, you know, the world, you know, decried this episode. It is currently on IMDb the lowest ranked Stranger Things episode of all of them, all 42. The Lost Sister was, I think, at a 6.0 or a 6.1. This is at a 5.7.
Wow.
Yep. But then I looked and I'm like, let's just take a look at this. So I went back and I kind of, I just scanned through them to see how many people voted on the individual episodes along the way. And season 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, they averaged, 60,000 votes, 50, 40, 70,000, somewhere in there, number of votes per episode, to kind of get to where they are, and again, most of them are at least like an 8.2 and up. And I think Dear Billy was like a 9.5, 9.6, something like that. So again, this episode is a 5.7, and had 182,000 votes cast. So 3 times the average number of votes for any other episode, or most of the other episodes, kind of averaged out. So
telling numbers. Yeah,
and 10% more votes than the finale, which has the second most. It was like 160,000 or something like that. So I'm beginning to sniff the idea that, this was an episode that the people that hated, you know, Bilers or, you know, homophobes or, you know, the whatever. I don't want to get into a whole political thing about it.
Sure.
But clearly the people that hated this episode for whatever reason immediately went on and gave it 0 stars and 0 stars and 0 stars and 0 stars to, you know, obviously to bring the score down. So
They
you know,
raged.
obviously take those numbers with a grain of salt because, you know, I don't think
I definitely do.
it reflects the actual quality of the episode as opposed to the Lost Sister, you know, which, you know, clearly had some issues that we've discussed ad nauseum. But yeah, I just thought it was crazy. 3 times the number of people that voted on like average episodes of Stranger Things, 182,000 people. And that was a couple days ago. It's probably over 190 by now at this point, you know, people just going in and still hitting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, yeah.
Yeah. People, they got an agenda. I do not find this episode particularly better or worse than 5 or 6.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I think there was some good stuff in it. I like the Max stuff. I thought Sadie was great. I thought her and Caleb together are great. And
They are.
I didn't realize it until I saw it that I had missed that dynamic in the show, you know, the whole Lumax thing, you know, so seeing them
amazing.
back. Yeah, they were really good. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of great stuff in this episode, you know, including all the stuff with Murray. I mean, there's just a lot of plot points, you know, that we will obviously get to. I mean, I love Linda Hamilton's one little scene with Akers where she, you know, she's like, you better watch your mouth, you know, that kind of thing. But then, you know, all the pain tree stuff and Holly, you know, dropping down through the upside down. It was just a lot of stuff going on. So, but yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good episode. I didn't love it. It won't be in my top 10 by any stretch, but it wasn't terrible. I don't think.
I will say that there's a couple scenes that that fell flat to me. We'll get into them as we go. So, you know, it was a bit disappointing on some of it. I really think it's, you know, and I've been thinking about this whole volume 2 chunk for, you know, 3 weeks now.
No, actually, hold that. Let's take a tea real quick.
Okay.
We should mention that Whitney is not here.
Yes.
So yeah, she's not on temporary hiatus. She is just very, very ill and texted it like, you know, earlier this evening and said, yeah, you and Doug are going to have to handle this one. So like, okay, so she's fine. Well, I assume she will be fine. She's just not really feeling very well at all. So that is where Whitney is, and she will be back. It is not a thing. So anyway, go ahead. You may pick up where you
all good.
Yep.
Yeah. I really feel like this whole section was very mechanical. I came upon that word today as we were chit-chatting about it. Like,
you're talking like 5 through 7 or
yeah.
And
you know, especially I think 6 and 7 especially. I feel like that they were really driven by answering these questions and having everything fit just as such. Again, like a mathematical equation or just like a machine. And then they were just trying to insert these emotional points, and they were either ill-timed or fell flat or just odd and off.
Yeah.
And
I mean, obviously culminating with Will's scene, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think that, you know, I don't know, I'm inclined to not lose my mind over this part not being all that great. I'm not losing sleep.
No, I'm not either. I mean, I think we've talked about it before with, you know, many episodes along the way that it's just I mean, it's the bridge. It's a bridge episode. It's a episode that's going to get you from here to where you really need to go. So I mean, you have to have the plot continuity to, you know, make that happen. So I mean, that's kind of what this episode is. I mean, it's just everybody. It's one last, you know, ramp up to get to the finale, essentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, there are some good stuff in it. There's some good scenes in it. I love the stuff with Murray and Erica and Mr. Clark and the balloons, and that's. I mean, you know, there was a little bit of fun left, and I know we've been bemoaning the lack of fun. But just
Hmm.
when I rewatched it the, I don't know, fourth or fifth time or something, I literally did not take my eyes off Mr. Clark just to get his reaction as all of this is going around. And the fact that, I mean, I mentioned it in the recap, as far as he knows, this is Mike's second cousin from the bad place, Sweden. Right.
That's right.
So that's all he knows about Elle. And here she is, like, destroying, the security cameras and flipping over this big, huge steel plate and everything like that. So, but just the whole idea of what must be going through his head, through all of this was hilarious. And he played it really well. So, um, credit to Mr. Havens. I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, I liked Mr. Clark being there a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's good.
But I'm glad you said, it's like a transition type of episode, right? Like I think back in like last season, it was like the Nina project was a kind of a stinker,
Mm-hmm.
just like plodding along,
Yep.
resetting the stage. And I really do think, and what I was trying to get at was, I don't want to sit here and try to pretend that, I wish, I wasn't disappointed in volume two. I definitely was. But so I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses, but I really do think that there was like no avoiding this with the
No.
amount of things that they had to answer. And if that was their main goal, it was almost necessary when you look at this section of episodes, in the grand timeline of 5 seasons. Um, Especially if you're not going to be answering all these things until this portion. And I think it was jarring as well because typically, I think I said this when we were doing chapter 5, these portions of episodes are usually where it really starts to ramp up. And I think just the structure of the story in season 5 was much different than any other season. Like we jumped
Mm-hmm.
right into it, and
Right.
we got it was almost as if these 3 episodes switched places with episodes 2, 3, and 4, and then we
Right.
took
Yeah.
the break to reset from that huge revelation of Will,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're just resetting the stage in a very long and grandiose and too long of a talk in
Yeah.
the Red World to get to the final battle that we all
Right.
know is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I mean, it really is like a volume one and a volume two, right? So you have volume one, and it kind
Hmm.
of ramps and ramps and ramps and ramps and will, and then now we're back down to five, and it ramps and ramps and ramps and ramps and will, and then finale, right? So it really is kind of it's like a little wave, kind of going, as opposed to other seasons, which kind of
Hmm.
steadily climbed. This was up and then back down and then up again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, it's totally unavoidable. I mean, I will give the Duffers all the credit in the world. They can, write like nobody's business. I mean, the fact that all of this came out of their brains is just mind-boggling to me. And they have built this incredible world with these incredible characters, and it's just so good. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna have. It's just, I mean, you're not going to not have what we had. I mean, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to have,
Hmm.
peaks and valleys. It's going to happen. It's just, it's then when it relies on the actors and the script and, the effects too,
Hmm.
to, kind of keep it in. And in the past, they've relied on the fun and the nostalgia and the
Hmm.
songs, so they didn't have
Yeah.
that going for them this year. So it was really more incumbent on the actors and the
Yeah.
script. Um, but fortunately, again, I mean, all the actors in this show were just so good.
Yeah, they
I
were
mean,
good this
I was
this
I was
this episode
watching,
for
like,
sure.
you watch all the behind the scenes stuff, and then Netflix put out the thing on Monday with the whole 2 hour behind the scenes making the whole final season, which is incredible. Have your Kleenex handy for the last 10, 15 minutes, but oh my God, it just ripped my heart out and like stomped on it and then spat on it a little. But you could just see the friendships that are built with these actors and the chemistry they have. And I mean, especially like I mentioned with like Caleb and Sadie and their chemistry that they have together. I mean, I was watching with my mom and she's like, "Are they a thing?" I'm like, "No." I mean, the only couple that I know of on the show are Charlie and Nat. So,
They have great
but
chemistry.
but yeah, they're just so good together. So, but yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I see what you're saying. It's a very tricky, kind of situation that they kind of painted themselves into the corner, just by the nature of the plot of the show and what they wanted to do. But again, we're going to sit here and, we'll bitch and whine about it and, we'll kind of nitpick and stuff. But I mean, overall, it was a good season and I love the finale. And now that Whitney's not here, I can say that I love the finale even more.
I love the finale too.
I really did.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So, I
The
mean,
one
we'll
thing
obviously
I was thinking, go
get
ahead.
to that next week. But yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that I was thinking of too, when I'm just trying, like, I just want to understand, like, I'm like, why is this not hitting so good with me? 'Cause I'm mostly just kind of sad that I'm like, man, I really wasn't into this volume too much.
Hmm.
Um, I think I was thinking about Star Wars,
Hmm.
particularly episodes 1 through 3, right?
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, right. And be like, there's definitely some parallels between like this just getting so big that they lost track of the magic,
Hmm.
in ooey gooey terms, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? As far as Star Wars is concerned.
Right.
But also I was more so thinking about like midichlorians, right?
Right. And trade
Now,
disputes. Yeah.
well, like, did we like the Force more or less after we learned about midichlorians?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
We liked it less, right?
yeah, totally less because
We didn't want to know about
no, we don't
midichlorians.
need explanations. We don't need, I mean, there is a suspension
Right.
of disbelief on some of this kind of stuff. It's the
Yeah.
force. I don't need to know why. I don't need to know
That's
how.
right.
It's
That's
the
right.
force.
That's what
Now,
they plays
I
the
know,
music.
I know for, 4.5 years, I've been saying one of my biggest questions is where did the upside down come from?
Right.
That's one of my big unanswered questions. I don't need
Yes.
to know, where Vecna's powers came from, but I just kind of wanted a little bit of the backstory, like a little bit of the history,
Sure.
right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think when they answered all these questions, it just sucked a bunch of the 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 fun of not knowing
Right.
just got sucked right out of it.
Yeah.
Like I really think that I'm really glad that we figured out what the upside down is, or that we
Sure.
were told what the upside
Yeah.
down is. That's still really fun to me.
Hmm.
It still sucked out a little bit of magic though, because you're not sitting there wondering, and you're
Right.
done wondering.
Yeah.
And I really liked that they revealed, where the powers came from with
Hmm.
the blood, right?
Yep.
And I think that the one thing that I didn't need answered and really dragged down this section was Vecna's backstory.
Sure.
I wasn't all that worried about that. I was just fine with this guy being Skeletor.
Yeah. Sure.
Like, I didn't need that thoroughly explained with some moon rock and a briefcase. I didn't need any of that stuff.
No, yeah, that was kind of strange. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and again, I was just saying I wanted, just a little bit of backstory on the upside down. And I got that, obviously, right? So we get the whole
Hmm.
wormhole exotic matter. So that was fine. I was good. You
Yeah.
could have stopped right there and then the whole Dimension X is really the abyss and the whole thing. And
Hmm.
but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The fact I think I think they thought they needed to answer more questions than they did.
I mean, plenty of people think they needed to answer more
Right,
questions.
exactly. So I mean, you're never gonna, with a show with this kind of juggernaut fan base, you're not gonna
Yeah.
obviously make everybody happy.
That's right. But I mean, I feel like in conclusion, there is a massive irony going down. I think the same people that wanted all these things answered to me are the same people who are the most angry at it not being all that great.
Could be,
And
yeah.
it's because they were answering all these questions so much. And it's like,
Be careful what you wish for.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I did say I was in conclusion. I really think there is something too that these episodes are really removed from regular life. I think that was a huge portion of what makes this show special.
Mhm.
And without it, it's noticeable. It's noticeable.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was funny. I just went back just for the heck of it, not immediately after watching the finale, but I think it was like a day or two later. I just went back and watched like the first half hour of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I don't know if it was a smart thing to do or not, but the contrast between, because we'll obviously get to it next week in the finale talk, but no spoilers,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a moment well, an extended moment in the finale when I literally was just staring at the TV screen going, what am I watching? What TV show is this? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know the characters are there. I know what's going on, but I just had a moment of like, this is not the Stranger Things that, started,
Mm-hmm.
way back in, you
Right.
know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, I don't hate it. I'm not saying, I wasn't like disgusted by it or anything like that, but there was a moment that I'm like, whoa, what is going on right now? But yes, again, we'll get to that. But yeah, it's just so crazy to me, like what this show started as and what it became.
Mm-hmm.
The budget and the staff and the crew and I mean, just everything, and just watching these kids grow up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so crazy. But still a great
Indeed.
show. I still love it. I'll still rewatch it. I'll still come back to it. I have no problem, with any of that. I obviously have favorite episodes and least favorite episodes, but yeah, there's just so much. And I know Whitney was saying that her favorite season is still season 3. I think it is for me too. I just really love I mean, talk about an overload of nostalgia and music and fun. And just, I mean, just the whole mall vibe and all the Madonna songs and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everything for the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Scoops Ahoy of it all, not because of the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but just I just like that whole thing and the whole Russian lab. It was such a good season. So I think that'll probably be my favorite season, going forward. But I don't hate 5. I'm good. I really am. We got done the show and the credits were rolling and I was like, yeah, okay, that was good. I'm good. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah.
but
I
let's
mean, we're
let's
getting a little
let's
ahead
let's
of
get on
ourselves,
let's get
but
on with
yeah.
chapter
Yeah.
7 here. So,
Mm-hmm.
we start with the heartbeat over the black screen. It's obviously
Mm-hmm.
Max coming back to life. I love the little interaction with her and Lucas about how she didn't need the song, she just needed
Mm-hmm.
him, and that she wasn't sick of the
Mm-hmm.
song anymore. But was he sick of it? which, I,
Ah,
which I thought was good. It's like, yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah. Which I
it
thought was just,
was I man, I was so happy to have Max back in regular life.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just with Sadie Sinks. At like instant, I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot. She's amazing. Holy shit,
Yeah,
is
it
she
was so
good?
good, and it was so weird. I was watching. I'm like, oh, Max is back, but she's been back for like several episodes. Just
Yeah,
wandering
but
around the
as like,
desert, as a gypsy
yeah.
with Holly. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. It felt like real Max was back.
Yes,
It was
yeah.
just,
No, no, that's right.
so that was really cool, and I really love. I made a note that I loved Hopper's look when he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Welcome home, kid," which I thought was
Yeah.
just really, really good. I mean, it's just just such a sweet moment, which also made me think about how Hopper has been so good this season and everything. So, or David,
Mm-hmm.
however you look at it. So,
Oh yeah, he's been
um,
really good. He's good
so
in this episode too.
yeah, he really is. He's been really solid this season, but like sneaky solid. Him and Winona both have been like really, really
Mm-hmm.
good. But there's just so much stuff going on around them. They just don't even
Mm-hmm.
really notice it
Mm-hmm.
because they're just so solid.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got our first shot of the pain tree, as the Duffers call it.
Ooh.
This monstrosity out in the middle of the desert in the abyss.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I was just like, this is straight He-Man toy,
oh,
some
I
sort
mean,
of
I was
castle
thinking,
base.
I immediately went to Dark Crystal. I just rewatched Dark Crystal again about
Oh yeah, yeah,
like 2 months ago. Nancy and I were bored, so we just sat around and watched it one night. But um,
yeah. Some of it
yeah,
is
it's
wild.
just it's just such a it's such a callback to I mean, pick it. I mean, any kind of thing in the past, whether it's He-Man or Dark Crystal or whatever, it was just
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
the hand kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. So, um, and I love the fact that when Holly got out, she actually ran. Um, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just standing there looking around and going, I wonder if I should, so it was just kind of a, I'm not sure it was a meta moment. I don't think it was like a, response to, the
No.
episode prior when they stood there for 4 minutes and 52 seconds and had their little podcast about, whatever. But I did like that she ran. And then obviously the shot of her, falling down through the bridge. And I remember when when we got the trailer and we just had this image like, oh my God, who's falling? And I had, honestly kind of completely forgotten about that moment until it happened. I'm like, oh, right. There was there was the person falling down through the bridge and we were trying to figure out who it was. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so that was kind of cool. And then we get to what I think was the funnest part of the episode. So that was the Clark and Murray and Erica bit with all the Snookums and fortune favoring the bold, and
Yeah.
we've been out here for 6 hours and expedience and the loose your balloons, which I thought was just, loose your balloons, which I thought
Loose your balloons.
was just hilarious. And then obviously looking over to the flag to see that there was no wind, so he could do that. It took me like 2 watches to like, why is he looking over the flag? I'm like, oh, because there's just to make sure there's no wind. But I thought that was
He's on it, Mr. Clark. Scott Clark, baby.
right. It was just so good. So yeah, it was just I noted specifically when that scene happened. I mean, you put Erica and Murray and Clark together in a room, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be goofy. It's going to be silly, and it was just a really nice way, especially after coming out of, the whole thing with, Holly falling and Vecna and, her running away and stuff. It was just a nice little break. So I thought that was good. And then we immediately plummet right back down again with Will moping on the bed about how everything's his fault. And, Joyce was there to comfort him and stuff. But, I mean,
too much, right?
Yeah, it was just a little bit over the top. I mean, I get, where he's coming from, sure, but I mean, come on, dude. You gotta, stop beating yourself up a little bit much here.
Yeah, it was yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. That I hear. What
It got too. What's the word for it? I don't. It was absurdly mopey.
Yeah,
and
it's not even. I was going to maudlin, but it's not maudlin. It's just very mopey and kind of self-flagellating. I mean, just
Yeah.
I mean, I get that you gave up Max, but she's fine. Joyce didn't bury the lead. She walked in the room and said they found Max, and she's out and she's fine. So no matter what you did, she got out. So we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a little bit much. And then we're back in the hospital, and God bless Cara Buono. She's just so good. I don't know if she did something specific to make her voice sound raspy because of the injuries. But I just noticed that she's just talking. It's just kind of, it was just really cool. And I love, that she trusted her children. Well, Mike anyway. And said, yeah, okay, I will go back. I mean, she kind of listened to Vicky a little bit, but it was really listening to Mike. And really just having the trust to go back and still wrapping her head around what is going on. Because, she still has no real clue, about what's going on, is Holly trapped under a metal plate and all this kind of stuff. So she's, and then Mike mentions, Mike mentions Demogorgons and she's like, what, so, it was God bless her for, having the moment in that. And then I put this note in here because I'm curious about you two. And I was kind of asking around and talking to people, and they kind of agreed with me too, that, I have a real tough time in the moment remembering that Mike and Nancy and Holly are siblings and that they are Karen's children. I mean, I know they are, obviously, right? We know they are.
Right.
But there are so many times when they have a scene together and I'm like, oh, right, they're brother and sister. Oh, right, they're brother and sister. Or it's not so much with Karen, because I get, the Karen Mike dynamic and the Karen Nancy dynamic, but there are a lot of scenes. The first time I saw the scene, honestly, and I mean, shame on me, the Holly, the heroic scene with Mike and Holly on the bench. I was halfway through the scene. I'm like, oh, right, they're brother and sister. Right. Duh. Yeah. It was just kind of a, I don't know if it's a me thing or what. It was just kind of, I don't know. I think they've just been so separated and haven't done a whole lot of stuff together. And there's not a lot of referring to themselves as brother and sister. It's just, I mean, again, I know I'm stupid. I understand that. I'm going to sit on my bed and it'll all be my fault. But it was just kind of a weird thing. And I noticed it again in like my latest rewatch. I'm like, right, they're brother and sister. They're brother and sister. Yeah. It's just kind of so I was just curious. It was just kind of one of those things that just kind of struck me as odd.
Yeah, they never. I mean, I feel like that's just a result of them not having those dynamic scenes. Like in season one, you had all those with Mike and Nancy at the tables, the
Yeah,
breakfast
yeah,
table,
like
the
at the
dinner
breakfast table,
table,
and the three of them they're sitting there. I'm like,
and
yeah, okay, yeah, they're brother and sisters, and I get it. Yeah, but
yeah. And then
yeah,
as it went on, those were fewer and far between.
yeah,
I mean, they were completely separated last season, so
right, yeah,
and you hardly got any sort of. You never got a Holly and Mike scene until
right,
Holly the Heroic from
yeah,
last season.
exactly.
So.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a
But I
second.
mean, what teenage boy wants to pay attention to his younger sister, who is at least
True.
6 years younger than
Yeah, exactly. So
kind
yeah, but yeah,
of spot on.
just a little random note. So
Hmm.
then Holly gets yanked back up. She makes it all the way down to pretty much the roof, but gets sucked right back up. And
I was just like, oh my God,
yeah,
this show.
yeah,
They Hopper escapes jail.
yeah,
They send him right back. Holly plummets through the sky,
yeah,
1,500 feet,
yep,
to get yo-yoed right back up.
yeah, to land 10 minutes from the roof without explanation. I don't know why she just happened to stop 10 minutes from the roof, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then goes right back up. And then so she goes back up there. Vecna, secures her safely in her little spot on the spires.
Yeah.
And then, we get it will all be over soon. And I'm like, okay, I know we've talked before about, repeating lines. So I looked it up. I was actually going to make a little audio montage, but I just didn't have the energy. But so this is the sixth time over the course of the show, starting in, I think it started in season 3 was the first time. Yeah. So in 3 seasons, we have heard it will all be over soon 6 times. 3 times from Billy, obviously channeling Vecna, 1 time
Mhm.
from Heather, channeling Vecna, and then twice from Vecna. So 6 times we have heard it will all be over soon.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know. Lazy
Yep.
writing, the catchphrase.
You got to have catchphrases, man.
Okay.
Bada bada boom.
Up, and away. Yeah,
The Holly just getting sucked right back up though did grind my gears a bit. Not in terms of what I just said with like the parallels to the return to the Russian prison,
yeah,
but it really did highlight to me like that we were not like how do I say this? She gets sucked back up, right?
mhm,
And we are right back to where we were after episode 4.
right, exactly.
So basically, nothing progressed. Everything just got mixed up nicely
Yeah,
to answer all these questions,
yeah,
and we're right back into the same problem that we were facing after 3 episodes passed.
yeah. I mean,
And we're
Max
left.
Max got
Yeah.
out, but that's it, right? So Max
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of used Holly to
Yes.
get around about to find the other gate
Yes.
out, and she got out. But yeah,
So I mean, like, so the driving thing that we're supposed to be afraid of, the world coming to an end because of what's going on with these 12 children.
mhm,
It didn't go anywhere. It didn't ramp up. We didn't get closer to the edge of our seats wondering, oh my God, how are we going to stop this? Right. It just was just, okay, well, we got them and now we got some things to answer and then we'll get back to it. And when, in chapter 8, damn
yeah.
it.
So that's what happens when you sit and think about things. It's just
Yeah.
actually, that didn't really require a lot of thought, so I take that back. It was just kind of obvious that, like, yep, we're right back where we started. So
Yeah.
Will can stop his crying, and your life can go on, and they can try
yes.
again. So
Right. Yeah.
so then they get all down to the upside down. So again, we got Vicky down on the upside down. We got
No, yes, this is the meta line. This is my favorite meta line
Yeah.
of the whole series.
Yep.
Finally did it. Is this shit safe to breathe? Unclear.
Yeah, it was so good. But again, I was watching, Mr. Clark through the whole thing and Vicky and just like trying to picture where the hell are we? What is this freaking place? It's just like, I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
I just want to like crawl into the fetal position and just get me out of here. But I thought it was so good. But that was such a good line. I remember when I was doing my notes, I had like 5 contenders for best line throughout this episode. And I decided on the one I decided on, but this was one. Erica's "What a Pussy" was one. Anything with Murray was great. Anything with Mr. Clark was great, but yeah, it was just that. But that was a good shit safe to breathe. It was just really, really
Yeah.
good.
Murray is wild this season.
He really is.
He's like
He's a little off his rocker. He's just kind of Santa's sleigh is ready. Like,
he
okay.
they turned him up to 11, and I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about it. I mean, he's hitting some good lines, but I'm just like Murray had a uh insane lunacy to him,
Hmm.
like that was grounded in, I don't know, like damn it, I can't find the words here. Like he was
There was,
very measured and crazy at the same time.
yeah, exactly.
Like this is Dirty Dozen shit, Jim, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now, this time he's just like fly or die.
No, that was just crazy. Yeah, it was just absolutely crazy. Then we get Crispy Critter Sullivan in his bed.
Oh yeah.
No idea how he's alive, but sure, I'll give it to you. But
Stop,
then
drop, and rolled.
yeah, right. And then we get Linda Hamilton's, I think, like crowning achievement this season. If she was so good in this this little one-off scene with Akers when they're out
Mm-hmm.
walking, and he's like the whole pull string thing, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, you better watch your goddamn, which is just
Yeah.
I had to make a note of it. It was just such a great scene from her. She's just been kind of quiet and seething, and she's had moments here and there.
Mm-hmm.
The bit with Hopper and Elle,
Mm-hmm.
with the tentacle was good, but I thought this was just peak Hamilton. She was just so good in this. I love that little scene.
It was good.
Yeah.
What's with Bro's hair? What is his
Oh,
haircut
Akers
he's
hair?
got? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's been through a lot. He had Elle up
He's
all
got
in his
like
brain, and
butthead hair.
yeah, he really
Like,
does. Yeah, it's kind of
yeah, it's like
yeah,
a pseudo bushy mohawk and
yeah,
all
it's
down on
kind
the
of
sides.
yeah. I don't know. You talk to Sarah Hinsgall and see if she had any little
I'm
Instagram things
curious.
about. Yeah,
It's like,
it was an interesting one.
what is this going for? Hmm. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. So then we get the big explanation, right? So we're back at the Squawk, and Dustin takes everybody through the whole thing. This is Hawkins, this is the wormhole, and then this is the abyss. So he goes through the whole thing. Um, I love the bit with naming it the abyss, and then everybody's reaction
Yeah.
to that. When they were talking about the D&D, and Hopper's like, Jesus Christ.
No,
Which
that
is
was just wonderful. I do have to say that this is one of the scenes I liked portions of it, but this is one of the scenes that left me kind of like,
mhm.
because they're bringing us back to the usual penultimate episode thing. Oh,
Yep,
we're all banding together, we're coming up with a plan, right?
yep.
And I think this one fell flat because of what I was saying earlier, right? Like we got all the answers. So there wasn't that wonderful tone except for when Hopper said, "Oh, Jesus Christ," right?
Right. Yeah.
Where like the kids end up using a D&D analogy to come up with the framework of the plan, right? That's really where the magic of those scenes comes from, right?
Mhm.
And Hopper's got to sit there and be like, God damn it, like this is D&D they're talking about, but for some reason it's making sense,
Yeah, I get it. All right,
In this one,
we're gonna get a helicopter. Yeah,
yeah, in this one they just had to think of it in like real practical terms, and it lost that like magic
right,
piece where they were pulling from the lore of the D&D player's guide in the
right.
handbook
Yeah, yeah,
to come in. So that's sort of
yeah,
I was just like,
yeah,
but there are some great lines in the whole thing with,
yeah.
I was laughing my butt off at the fly or die. Them just fly or die.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little bit nutty. Well, actually the scene is broken up by the eerily creepy scene of Henry with the kids
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the whole "woe is me" bit. Um, and the whole monster. I mean, I was just, it was funny. I was just watching it, and like everything he says to the kids about what the monster has done is exactly
Mm,
what he has done to the kids.
mm-hmm.
This monster is incredibly powerful. She works for the Blacks thing, which he does. She has corrupted
Mm-hmm.
Holly's mind, which he has. Dragged her out of the light and
Mm-hmm.
taken her to the dark, which he has. So I just thought it was, I mean, wildly ironic and really good writing on the Duffer's part for him to, again, before we even get into the whole textbook cult leader stuff,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
which is just, I mean, I don't know if the Duffers listen to a little bit culty or have done their, Teal Swan homework or what. But I mean, this is like cult psychology, like to a T. It's like crazy eerie. But I
Start a
thought that
little
was something.
chant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the whole back to
Oh,
the light, back
that
to the
was
light,
freaking me out.
back to the light. I'm like, oh my God, guys. I mean, but yeah, it's exactly. I mean, I watched The Vow on HBO Max about the whole Keith
Hmm.
Raniere cult and, Nexium. And it's this. I mean, it was that. That was exactly how they
Hmm.
did. It's just really, really crazy and really, really creepy, but really superbly well written and beautifully acted by Jamie with the shot of him at the end,
Hmm.
zooming in on him and he just gets this smile on his face. It's like a Grinch smile almost. It's just kind of,
Hmm.
it's like twirling his
It
mustache.
is like that Grinch smile. He was
But
very
yeah,
Grinch-like.
yeah,
Good
it
call.
was, it was really good. So now we're back to the squawk.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And so now we get kind of the rest of it. So we get Dustin's, it's too big. The helicopter's too big. It's
Oh,
not going to fit. And then Steve hears that all the time and goes, anyway, don't you,
the
Steve? Which,
crowning jewel of this year's dick jokes.
which was like, oh, come on. Which also secondarily reminded me of the Don't You Big Boy from Eddie when they were in the
Yep.
RV in
Uh-huh.
season 4. But then again, on rewatching it, I had noticed it. But when she says the line, Steve's look at her and says, "What's wrong with you?" And Murray says, "What? It was funny." And Steve kind of flinches at Murray, and Murray does like the karate. He's got the karate hands up.
That was good.
It was just so good. I
That
loved it
was
so
good.
much. And then I'll get this out of the way first because this is just one of those tropes that really annoys the heck out of me, and it happened twice in this episode. So it happened with
Hmm.
um, Murray and, well, it's Mr. Clark actually, with the whole cut your losses, right? So Murray said we just cut our losses, and Mr. Clark goes, cut our losses, like just
Ah,
the one word trigger that is just the
sure, sure.
little thing that, and it happened here too. The whole magic bean, magic bean. I can go from that to this
Mm.
just by one word triggering me, right? It's just one of those
Right,
tropes that
right,
has
right.
always bugged me. Happens all the time. It's never going away, and it is really, really common. But happened twice in this one episode, and I'm just like, ugh, come on, you could get to this without, without doing this thing. So I'll leave it there,
Sure.
but I'm putting it out there. Um, and then I loved the bits with Hopper saying he can't lose L when he was out with Joyce, kind of mirroring the scene from last episode when Dustin's like,
Hmm.
I can't lose you, Steve. So I thought that they did a lot of really good callbacks and reminders
Hmm.
and common themes. I thought this season. I also noticed that they finally got Max some clothes so she could get out of her hospital gown, which was good. And then Dustin brings out the bloody spears from when they were
Hmm.
stabbing the Demobats through the roof of the mobile home. Um, would I have washed the blood off? Maybe. I'm just saying. It's just
Maybe it's stained. It could be
it
stained.
it's just a thought I had. I would also, since everybody's just kind of milling around and hasn't really figured out what they're doing yet, maybe go take a shower. I don't know. Everybody's kind of looking kind of gnarly. They got to be a couple days past taking a shower. These are just the things I think about a couple rewatches in. But
Yeah. This is the section of the episode that I really did enjoy a lot.
yeah,
I liked
the whole
all
like
the
butthole
things
surfers on kind of
while the
like what's
butthole
the yeah
surfers was
yeah
going on. All the things that was happening in the squawk was great. All the conversations, all that jazz.
yep
As you said, I loved Hopper and Joyce talking. Hopper giving Joyce the rundown was intense. Like
hmm
he's just like, I swear to God, Joyce, I'm gonna kill her. She
yeah
makes one move, I am gonna fucking go.
yeah
So,
absolutely.
there's my F bomb.
Oh,
I
and
am
I
gonna
believe
kill
him.
her.
I believe him too. I'm not.
Yeah, that was
There's no
very
hyperbole
convincing.
there. Yeah, he
No.
will kill her. Yeah,
And that I was like, okay, you
yeah.
got my attention here. Um, and then but go on, then we get into Callie and Elle's conversation as well, which was intense. Like it's very odd how you know Volume Two's got this bad rap, and when I sit back and I think about the things that they have woven into these storylines, they were
Hmm.
really, I feel like they were really intense and good, and somehow they got lost in the shuffle. Maybe there were too many of them. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I was really intrigued with all of this Elle and Callie stuff and Hopper's reaction, especially when you go back to what he was doing with the bomb strap to him
Hmm.
in the earlier episodes. Like these are powerful, powerful existential questions that
Yeah.
they're wrestling with, and I was really into where they took. We'll get way more into it next week with the finale, but I was really wondering what they were going to do with Elle and Hopper. I've
Hmm.
said before that this is my favorite duo.
Right.
And besides making them some sort of awesome action team, uh, which they did, I wasn't sure what was left for them to resolve in their relationship. And
Hmm.
turns out there was a bunch to resolve, and
Right.
this
Yeah.
was heavy and really good. Um, we'll have to save most of it for next time, but
Yeah.
just this idea of whether or not they should just go away with the upside down was really, really intense to me.
No, I
Um,
agree. And it's one of those things too that kind of annoys me because it makes sense. Um,
yeah,
at first blush anyway. Now, I mean, I can go back and I can process it and you can find all kinds of loopholes and escape routes and other alternatives and other things you can do. But in the moment, I'm like, oh God, she's right. They're just going to be hunted forever and, blah, blah, blah.
hmm
But again, we'll get into it much more next week. But yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, ugh, ugh, Kali's kind of right, isn't she? Ugh. I don't know. At this moment, I'm thinking she is. Obviously
sure.
things change and evolve and everything. But yeah, in this moment, so that was really tough too, and really uncomfortable to kind of sit and watch. Because it kind of, I mean,
Well,
it
yeah.
kind of came out of nowhere, but makes sense in the moment. So yeah, that
Well,
was
it's
uncomfortable.
when you look at when you compare and contrast what Hopper's going through and what Kelly is proposing, they're
Mhm.
gonna die with the upside down. They're not doing it because they can't stand their lives and they want to just literally end their
Right.
lives and commit suicide. Um, she's suggesting to do it to save the ones that we love from any sort of further misery.
Right.
So this is where it becomes you know a a philosophical conundrum. Um, but the other side of the coin is with Hopper, and not just the suicide vest that he was wearing, but more so how he's refusing to he's refusing to let Elle go
Hmm.
and not give her this choice. And it's Elle is finding herself in these two absurd realms, right?
Yeah.
Where I have to die to protect everybody else, or no, I won't let you risk anything, so Hopper doesn't have to face any sort of grief.
Right.
Um, and both of these are equally absurd.
Sure.
Um, and I like the message that it ends up culminating in, which is no, Elle can think about it and make the right choice
Yeah.
herself,
Yeah,
and both of
totally.
you
Yeah.
can
I mean, there's
shut the hell up.
a really strong need for some individuation there. And so,
Hmm
um, Hopper coming to realize that, his daughter's grown up and has the faculty and the agency to make decisions for herself and, that kind of thing, and is informed and is intelligent. And, so yeah, this was a really tough scene. And again, obviously it bleeds into next week's. Um,
hmm
but yeah, it was just kind of a random little scene right in the middle of everything. And I mean, I could totally see somebody kind of like, looking down to grab their Coke off the coffee table and like completely missing it. And then just kind of, what's happened, because it was just such a, there wasn't a whole lot of
hmm
attention drawn to it. It wasn't dragged out. It was just kind of a random little scene that has like major
hmm
implications for the show. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying with Hopper and Al. I love their dynamic.
Right,
Um,
and like as we were saying earlier, like Hopper, he says he's like, I will kill Kelly, right? Like he'll kill
yeah.
her,
Oh yeah.
right? And who's the monster now? Right? Like
Yeah, right.
he's just gonna kill Cal. Like I understand that, like
Well, if he's not like, he's not on a murderous rampage setting out to kill you. It's just if,
yeah,
it
but
comes
he's
to it.
he's suggesting if she does anything even remotely suspicious, I'm gonna
Right.
kill her.
Right.
Right? Like that's equally as monstrous as Kelly's plan
Sure.
is.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
mm,
No, it
and
is. I
it
agree.
it was it was fun. It was juicy. I liked the whole
It
thing.
was.
It was it was good.
All right. So now we get Will's coming out party.
Ooh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Um, I actually did like a lot of it. At the time when I was watching it, um, was, I don't know, about why he felt it necessary to bring everybody together. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he can tell who he wants to tell. It's completely his call. It just felt like, and again, obviously everybody will know eventually, but it just seemed strange that Vicky was there and Murray was there. Um, even, I guess, some of the, I mean, Erica was there. I mean, I could kind of see it being kind of the party and Max and Elle, maybe, maybe have Jonathan there and, that kind of, I kind of get that, but it just seemed very strange in the moment. And again, he can do what he wants. I feel like I'm in Seinfeld. Not there's anything wrong with that. Um, but it just felt kind of odd in the moment that it was everybody,
Uh-huh.
except for Hopper, because he was off
Right.
doing his crawl. Um, that being said, I like a lot of the way it was written. I love the stalling, the listing 100 things
Sure.
that they like,
Yeah.
because, he could just keep listing things and then he doesn't actually have to say the words. So
Yeah.
he just keeps listing literally
Mm-hmm.
everything that they like, which I thought was good. And there were some, like kind of cute things in there that they liked, which I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed. I really liked, when he kind of said it and then stopped and he looked up and nobody was, you know, setting the room on fire or
Right.
storming out, and Robin had her nod, which was a really
Oh
sweet
yeah.
moment. I really like that. They talked a little bit in the inside the episode about, Ross was saying that, this has obviously been building since the beginning, and it's even since before the beginning. He referenced the Montauk Show Bible, where in that, and they had the listing of the four kids, and even in that one, it said, Will Byers was, among other things, wrestling with his sexual identity issues. So this was
Mm-hmm.
always a topic. This was always going to be on the table. And I think it was handled well. Overall, I think the placement was a little bit weird. They finally have this, plan to go out and literally save the world. But first, I'm just gonna have a moment and talk to you guys. I don't know where I would have put it instead. I get kind of why it happened there because of the whole,
Mm-hmm.
Vecna threatening thing. So, I mean, yeah, there were a couple things about it. Um, I love him coming out. I love that whole. I'm not against it. Not at all about that. And the Byler of it all is that I have no issues with that. It was just more kind of the mechanics of how it was done,
Mm-hmm.
that weren't maybe how I would have done it, if I was
It
either
was very
writing it or doing
clunky.
it. Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be clunky, but
This is
I,
true. It will.
I get what you're
That's
saying.
right.
It can be clunky without being clunky.
Sure, sure.
It's a clunky moment for Will Byers, the character. It didn't need to be clunky courtesy
Yes.
of Matt and Ross and
Correct.
Noah's acting. So,
That's
but yeah,
right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Um,
oh man, I got a huge mixed bag of feelings about this whole scene. I loved all right, first of all, when I first watched it the first time, I was crying my eyes out.
mhm.
And I was crying at Jonathan crying
Right. Yeah.
at watching his brother finally do it because he
Mhm.
obviously knew, right? I do agree. It seemed odd to have everybody there. It seemed, I think the easiest word to say is the whole thing to me seemed inauthentic. And this is really wrapped up in a mess of media,
Mhm.
because
Sure.
we're watching a show in 2026,
Right.
and this is supposed to take place in 1987. And there's no way to reconcile what our inherent sentiments are right now watching it
Right.
and what the inherent biases are of people's experience in 1987.
Hmm.
So to me, it ended up somewhere in the middle, and that ultimately seemed odd then.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
And
wondering, I was thinking, uh, I'll let you finish. Uh, but
no,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
okay.
I think, I kind of thought about this a little bit more too. And, I also been talking so much about how there was no nostalgia this season. Um, even the costumes,
Hmm.
aren't overly 80s. I mean, the little kids, the Henry's little Mr. What's It's kids,
Yeah.
yes, very 80s. I get that. But
Hmm.
even, I'm not really watching this scene and going, oh, those were the days, 1987. It was just, oh, so nostalgic. So I think that, had that been played up a little
Well,
bit
it's kind of
more.
funny because like it's full circle. Like the boys are wearing like hipster clothes that people would wear
Right.
nowadays.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, it was just,
sorry, a little tangent
so
there.
no, it's true though. But I
Yeah.
think if more had been played in the moment about the nostalgia, or, the music in the background or something, we would be taken back to the 1987s and we would think more clearly that this was the mid 80s and things were much more different,
Hmm.
for, people coming out in the mid 80s than they are today. So I don't know if that could have made a little bit of a difference and kind of nudged it in the right direction. It wouldn't have fixed the problem, obviously, but that might have helped a little bit. I don't know, but anyway, you can keep going with
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know. Ultimately, it fell flat to me a bit. And I don't necessarily have any suggestions on how to fix it, other than me wondering sort of if would it have been better if it was just him and the three boys.
Mm, yeah.
Something like that would have seemed much more intimate and intense.
Yes.
Um, it seemed it seemed mechanical too. I used that word earlier, right? So I
Hmm.
rewatched last night, right?
Yep.
And it was almost as if like and this time I was noticing how much emphasis they were putting on like hitting these notes to make it seem to drive home the point that in order for Will to participate in this final battle, he had to come out,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And that was kind of lost on me the first several times I watched it, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Like it seemed just before then, it seemed more like, hey, if I do this, I'll be very sure and confident and powerful, right?
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
achieve my full potential.
Right.
But the last time I watched it, it almost appeared as if they were building a narrative that would suggest that it was a requirement, right? And he was
Right.
just going to do it.
Right.
And that almost took away the meaningfulness of it. It's
Yep.
just so odd to compare and contrast this scene with Robin's coming out in season three, which is like the best scene ever in Stranger
Oh,
Things.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Because that was, yeah, go ahead.
it was intimate. It was the two of them,
Yes.
you know, high out of their brains on truth serum on the floor of a
Yeah.
movie theater bathroom. And it was cute and it was sweet and it was honest and it felt real.
It was
And
spontaneous.
yeah, it was not planned. It was not, okay, my children come around and I will tell you the story. It was just yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a nice little cute moment. While you were just saying what you were saying though, it was striking me that yeah, in the past we've obviously seen that Vecna exploits people's weaknesses, right? So all the stuff with Chrissy and um, the eating disorder and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Freddie with his history with the car crash, and so that was the whole thing. But I think that also got kind of lost.
Mm.
I mean, yes, it's been there, but I mean, it was not really referred to. It was not really a nagging issue that was facing all of these kids, right? So again, had they kept the nostalgia going, had they kept reminding us that this was a Vecna thing and that, so it could have been kind of simmering underneath the whole time. Oh, this is going to
Mm.
be weird because Will's realizing he's gay and that might be a thing that, Vecna's going to
Mm.
get him just kind of because he got Chrissy with the eating disorder. I'm not comparing being gay and having an eating disorder, but you get my point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there were times like that where, a little bit more on the Duffers part of the writer's room part, to kind of remind us of these things, not blatantly, not that I'm stupid and I forgot, but just to kind of keep the thread going, might have helped a little bit too. I don't know. It's kind of, but I get you. Yeah, it was just kind of
Hmm.
a disappointing scene. It was kind of, um,
Well, one thing too about it, right? I'm thinking when I was thinking about like Robin's scene in season three,
right.
and now I'm even thinking back to episode four, Sorcerer.
Hmm.
Like his flashback and him like that with the film with Castle
Yeah.
Byers and things,
Hmm.
right? Like this is essentially him digging in deep and embracing his queerness, right? Like I'm
Right.
not going to run from this within me any
Yeah.
longer. That was extremely powerful. That might be my favorite scene from the whole season.
Yeah.
That
It was
was
great.
really good,
Yeah.
right? So by the time we get to this, right, it's almost as if like there's no doubt in anyone's mind any longer. Like
Right.
it's just like okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Will's gay. He had a crush on Mike,
Yep.
right? He was the Tammy. We all got it, right?
Yeah. Right.
So by the time he's coming around to do this, like we're not getting any revelation out of this. We're not
No.
getting any more understanding. We're just like, yeah, just would you just tell everybody so we could
Yeah.
go battle Vecna already?
Yeah.
Like we're
Yeah. And that's
totally
it. We
running
get
out of our
the
patience.
we get the record scratch, right? Of the, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
okay, we've got this plan. We're gonna go. We're not gonna use a helicopter because it's too big, but we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna do this. And there's a thing and the bomb and the slinky, and we're got it and let's go. And no,
Yes.
but wait, I need everybody for 10 minutes for a quick little thing and a hug. Okay, now we can go. It's just kind of
Yeah.
that was kind of what I was saying. It was just kind of misplaced. I mean, I don't know. It was strange,
I
but I
mean,
did, I
like,
did love the
yeah,
hug. I thought the hug was just
of
really,
course.
really, really good.
And then,
Um,
within it, like there was this wonderful stuff. Like I already said, I was crying my eyes out looking at Jonathan. I
yeah.
love the looks from Robin. The little tiny look from Max. It was just like,
Hmm.
whoa, that hit me. You're
Yeah.
good, Sadie Sink. You're the best.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of and even Mike's reaction and the boys all their reactions. All
Hmm.
of this was really good.
Yeah.
It was just like ill-timed and right. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I really think there's something too that it didn't move anything along plot wise. It
No.
just got it out of the way.
Yeah,
Just like we
exactly.
had
That's
just
exactly
like
what it
we had
was.
hey,
It,
okay,
we all
Will has to come
knew
out.
we all knew it was not a big deal. We knew it was going to come sooner or later. This was just
Yeah,
kind of checking off the box of, we
right.
got to do
We
the
found
scene
out where the
because the
upside
scene.
down is.
Yeah.
We
Um,
found out where the powers came from.
yeah, exactly.
And Will came out. Okay, now
Yeah.
let's have the big boss battle.
Yeah. It's so funny though, thinking back to when we were watching the trailer and picking apart that hug. And I remember, I
It
think
was
that's
funny. Who's
Gaten's
that in the
arm,
background?
and there's L, and then I think that's Lucas because he's got the you see Lucas's hair, and Mike had the hat, so I think that's Mike. But who's in the background? I
Hmm.
think that's Mike in the background. Nobody had that. It was Vicky in the background, but why would we? And I remember thinking also they were in a hospital room, so somebody had just died in the hospital room or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny.
Ah, the good old days.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's move on to what I'm calling my favorite scene in this whole season.
All right.
Um, oh, I just loved it so much. So they go through the gate in the truck. Murray's flopping along. They come to a screeching halt. Hopper's had his thing, and then boom, walk him down
Yep.
Wheeler. Oh my. Oh, I lost my shit when that happened. It was so,
That's
so
good.
good. I just loved it so much.
Hmm.
I love there's like the little sting of music. It's like a boom, when it kind of pans up to her, and she is just like so badass. I mean, she looks like she was born holding a machine gun. It was just amazing. I just love that scene so much. I mean, I've always loved Nancy's character anyway,
Hmm.
but I just thought it was so good.
It
And
was
the
great.
hole was already there from the Demogorgon. So
I
she Sniper's
that's the
Nest was.
Stranger Things writing that I know and love.
Yep, it was so good. It was
There it
funny. They
is.
were interviewing Brett, and he was saying that he get to do a lot. He got to do a lot more action this season than he ever had before. Not counting the fists of
Hmm.
steel and balls of fury.
Uh-huh.
But he was saying that he was joking with the interviewer and saying something like, hopefully this is the launch of my massive action movie career. Yet to come from this. So I thought that was really kind of
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So they finally make it into the upside down and they head off into the distance and the black screen comes up and the credits. Nope, the credits don't roll because now we have Vecna, fresh back from a visit to Yankee Candle and any other candle manufacturer in the tri-state area. I mean, literally, I think I counted there were like
A lot of candles.
18 candles just on the table.
Hmm.
And yeah, the kids are just kind of sitting there as he lights the candles. I did notice Mary's little scratch on her cheek, and if
Oh
Holly had
yeah.
connected the way she connected with that sidestep, girl would be gushing blood. And it
Yeah.
looked like she had a little bug bite on her cheek,
Hmm.
so I had to do that, or mention that. And then we had obviously the head snap, start of the trance, and that takes us up to the finale. So um,
That got me in the mood for the finale. I will say, I was like,
yes, it
okay, you
did too.
guys, like,
Yeah, and I timed it. I actually timed it New Year's Eve to kind of watch. I think I watched like the last 40 minutes or so of
hmm.
this episode, kind of leading right into the finale. I gave
Oh,
myself a
cool.
little 5 minute window to pee, but
Hmm.
so I could just kind of end that and start right going. So yeah, it was again, a good episode, not a great episode. Lots of good individual things in it. Lots of little moments, a little more fun than we'd had in the season, which was good. And some things that brought it down too. So I mean, it was just kind of one of those. I imagine if we re-rank the episodes, and I'd love to think that we will at some point in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever,
Hmm.
that this would be, I mean, really kind of in the middle of the pack, maybe in the upper teens, 20s, somewhere there out of 42. I don't know, something like that. That's about where it feels like it would go. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. So, anything else on the episode, or we'll get into some
No, all the other
segments?
fun stuff I want to mention will come up through our segments. A lot
Okay.
of little fun stuff that I really dug in this
Yeah,
episode, though.
there were some neat things to,
Hmm.
it was nice to get back to some music and some locations and stuff.
Hmm.
So, yep. All
It
right.
was.
So, Colin moment. It was funny because I was sitting here and I'm trying, like, I mean, I take notes in every episode about, what, various things could be, what is the best line? What is the best, whatever. I just kind of have a little, it's not quite an Excel sheet, but I make little notes on a piece of paper. And so I can kind of
Hmm.
scribble notes as I go. In the past couple of weeks, it's just been so hard to come up with most spirited
Hmm.
and so hard to come up with a Colin moment just because there's no nostalgic things going on.
Hmm.
So, it's just, I mean, yeah, I could talk about, records and tapes and, the Columbia Record and Tape Club and boom boxes and stuff. But I
Hmm.
mean, good
Hmm.
Lord, we've done all that. So this one was kind of tough, but it was a nice little Colin moment. And that was the pinball machine in the back of the squawk, because it gave me a chance to kind of do a little research and to try to decipher, because we
Hmm.
never really see a close up of it. You just kind of see it from afar, so you can't really read the title of the pinball machine. Um, but then I was watching a thing, and it's always kind of blurry a little bit. It's kind of a little bit out of focus in the background. But then I
Hmm.
was watching, and I'll put a link to it in our socials. Chris Trujillo did a two-part kind of set tour. I can't remember who it was with. If it was Architectural Digest, or I can't remember who it was, but I'll post a link to it, where he literally walks a camera crew through all of the sets and say, this is how we built this, and this is how we built this, and this is the pain tree, and it's all just foam, and this is whatever. And at one point he talked about a bunch of stuff in the squawk, and I could see a little bit more clearly the pinball machine in the background. And it is a hang glider pinball machine by
Oh,
Bally that came out in 1976. So, period appropriate. It's about 13 years old by the time, this episode is supposed to have taken place. But it got
yeah.
me thinking about not only pinball back in the day, which is, I mean, it's still out there, but, there's actually a pinball kind of membership club here in Vermont, where you kind of pay like a membership fee. You can
Mm.
go in and pay pinball whenever you want, and it's like open to anybody, like on Friday nights or something like that. It's kind of a BYOB thing, but you just like pay a flat fee and you can go in and you can play pinball all night. So it's still a thing, but
Yeah.
good Lord, back in the day of, especially in the 70s and then kind of creeping into the 80s, before the arcades really took over, pinball was such a huge thing. And I remember when I was younger, I think I was early teens. My mom's going to kill me, but it will certainly correct me. But I think it was like 12 or 13. We built on an addition to the back of our house.
No.
And it was just kind of because it was a very standard, 4-room colonial, dining room, living room, kitchen, bed, kind of thing. So we built on where we used to have a deck out back, and it was just big enough to have like a normal sized pinball machine going. So my dad got one really cheap somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What was the pinball machine?
I see. I knew that was coming. I couldn't remember it, and it was a generic thing. It was not it wasn't like a movie or a TV show or Kiss or Queen or whatever.
No.
It was kind of and I seem to remember it being like a dude and a woman kind of standing and there's like a convertible. So I think it was like something like riding high or something like that, or, just kind of, or a speedway or, something.
Sure,
It was like, it wasn't Scooby-Doo, but it was like Fred and Velma, kind of standing next to each other.
Sure.
Just kind of that, the 70s kind of chic look.
Right.
Standing next to a car. So it was all about like fast cars and faster women and that kind of thing. So I don't remember what it was called. I keep trying to look it up every couple of years ago, but how do you randomly, 70s pinball machine with a guy and a girl and a car on it? Yeah, good luck. But I just love pinball so much, and it was just one of these things that I felt. And I know people will dispute this, but it wasn't something that you could really master. I mean, it was just, you kind of had to, you could get good with the flippers, but I don't know. I never got the sense that if I practiced it a long time, I would get any better at it. I don't know. But I just really loved it. It was just fun it was just fun to play pinball. So it kind of, being able to finally figure out the pinball machine, because it had been kind of bugging me all season. And I finally figured it out. Yeah, it was a little hang glider pinball machine. Which
anytime we frequent the arcade, we always did a couple rounds on the pinball machines.
Yeah,
they didn't give a lot of tickets, like skee ball. That was this is a ticket era for me in the arcades, right? But pinball was just purely like, let's play the pinball machine. But there were cool ones that I always remember, like the Terminator one.
Yeah.
And there was one that we always wanted to play. It was like Tornado or Whirlwind or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It had a fan on the top.
Oh, wow.
And it would blow in your face at certain points.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Then, of course, there was the Elvira one that we were all geared up to play.
I remember the Elvira one. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny. When I went to the club thing here about a year ago. And it's just so funny because they had like the really old school ones, like really old school, weren't even like electronic scores. It was just kind of like the dials, like the old gas tanks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's ones that are just so high tech and lasery 3D, crazy, all kinds of weird things going on. So it's just, they're still making pinball machines and they're still putting out new ones and stuff. But so it was just a little Collin moment thing that I thought, was kind of cool. So
I like
it. That's where I was. Let's see.
Where in the world is?
Obviously no homework because my teacher isn't here tonight, so I got spared that. Quick location, obviously. They're actually both on the fridge in the Squawk. One was the Six Flags St. Louis bumper sticker that was right behind Nancy, right next to Hopper when he was talking. Back on, and it says like Interstate 44 at the bottom. Which is a real place. Six Flags St. Louis opened in June of 71. It is still there. It is still going strong. So that is a real thing. And that was an old, like an original vintage bumper sticker from about the time when it first opened. I went back and kind of looked at some of the old original bumper stickers. And then the other one on the other side, so that was on the front of the fridge. On the side of the fridge, so if you're looking at Nancy, to the left of Nancy's head as you're looking at her, was like a Coors bumper sticker for WMFD TV 68, which is a real channel operating in Mansfield, Ohio, of all places. Not terribly close to Indiana. Next state over, but it's not like it was like on the border or anything. It's kind of north central, a little bit south of Cleveland. But yeah, so that was kind of a random, little thing. But I just love all these like little things, especially around the squawk. There was a lot of stuff, and Chris Trujillo and his walkthrough pointed out, and you can see a lot of stuff because there's no actors when he's kind of walking around. It's just like the
Mm.
open set. So I encourage people to watch that. I'll put a link to it, like I mentioned. But it's really kind of cool to see all the little details and things that they put in, especially the squawk with all the. I mean, we've seen
Oh
all the
yeah.
bumper stickers all season, so yeah, that was kind of cool. So those are your locations. Now let's do tires. I'm going to do tires first. Let's do that.
Yes, sir.
So tire peel outs, actually three at least, depending on how you count them in this episode. The first one, which is just hilarious to me, was when all the soldiers come flying up to the hospital in the wake of the Demogorgons eating two of their brethren in the last episode. So it's a little bit long, but this is the soldiers pulling up outside of Hawkins Memorial. Yeah, so it goes for a while. But there are a lot of trucks compared to this one, which is the super quick one of the hearse and the Pinto screaming up to a stop outside the lab when everybody gets back there. Yep, that's it. Just one car. It's just great. And then the last one, obviously, Murray kind of had a field day when he was breaking through the gates into the Maxi. So this is Murray, rounding the corner. I love you can hear his whoop in the background. So, tire peel outs. Next one is the movies.
We should be at the mall or like watching a movie or something.
Obviously, I mean, some very obvious ones. Obviously, they mentioned the Holy Grail. Will saying they always went and rented the Holy Grail. We already talked about the Dark Crystal and how those, looked alike. And then I know it's kind of a stretch. It's just a bunch of balloons, but you can't really.
No, it's very Up.
You can't not think of Up.
It's the colors,
right? When the multicolored balloons, obviously, for Up. And then the more I thought about it, the more I kind of leaned away from it. But at the very first watch, the shot of Vecna with Holly kind of trailing behind really screamed Han Solo and Carbonite being dragged out of.
Oh no, I saw it.
Cloud City.
I agree.
So that way, I kind of.
When it's floating, like it's the.
Yeah, he's floating.
Yeah.
She's floating. So it's just kind of.
When you were mentioning it before, I kept trying to picture it in like when he's hanging on the wall in Jabba's palace.
Right.
But then I finally got it. I watched it last night. I'm like, oh, when they're taking him into Boba Fett's the Slave One.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Those are my thoughts on movies. I'm sure you have something to add here.
Of course, we got Duck Hunt. Steve's a master at it.
Yep.
Came out in '84 in Japan and on the in an arcade console, but in '85 released in North America as Nintendo's, of course, launch game.
That's right.
Duck Hunt has sold over 28 million copies.
And I mean, does that count coming with the?
Probably,
console?
I would guess.
I
would guess. I don't think were people running out to buy Duck Hunt. I don't like.
We didn't need to because it came with it. So I was just curious, but
it just kept hanging around. And then later, I wanted to put this in because this is what I grew up on when we were getting our Nintendos when I was younger.
Yeah,
we all got the combo cartridge as it was placed on the same cartridge, Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, and 1.
Yeah.
And that cool. Damn dog.
I did like stupid dog. I did like Duck Hunt. That was a good one. So, and I think that's going to be the end of the video game segment. It's going to be the end of a lot of segments because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot next week in the finale. But
no.
So video games, little things.
Wait, did you see something?
Yeah.
What did you see?
This was funny, and I remember when it happened. I didn't notice it as it happened, but I remember the outcry the next day when Holly is escaping at the beginning from the pain tree, and the Under Armour logo is on her sleeve.
No, that's right. I never spotted it. I looked quick and I missed it.
So this is what it looked like in the original cut. But then they went back and edited it out so it wasn't there anymore, which is kind of funny, I think. I mean, God
Yeah.
bless them for doing it, but
I mean,
very much like the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones,
Sure, sure.
that's that same thing.
I
Uh,
like when those things happen. It's fun.
yeah, it's fun. I mean, nobody really cares. Luke emailed in and
People
pointed.
care, Colin.
No, I know. That's true. There was a bit of an outcry. I don't know if there was, but if they were upset or if they were just making fun or whatever. But yeah, there was quite a thing for a couple of days, and then a couple of days more when they're like, they fixed it, they went in and fixed it,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. So, Luke emailed in, and I had written this down too, but I'm going to give him credit for it. I love the bit where when Dustin and Steve rescue Nancy and Jonathan, Dustin and Nancy have that hug. He said, "Was that weird?" It was weird, wasn't it? Was it weird? It was weird. Um,
That
which
was a great part.
it was really, really good. And it took me back, obviously, to the very first episode when he's taking the pizza upstairs for Nancy says, "Hey, we got some pizza left over." So we get that, relationship right off the bat, the kind of the crush on Nancy. And then obviously it culminates with the snowball, and the two of them dancing together. So I thought that was a really nice kind of full circle moment for the Dustin and Nancy relationship. So thank you, Luke, for emailing that in. That was really good.
Really good.
The soldiers were talking at one point, when they were just kind of shooting the shit back and forth with each other about Alfred going 4 for 6 in the game, and mark my words, Reggie's going to be something, which is just very strange. And I'm not really sure, based on what they were saying, it didn't sound like they were talking about a game that happened that night. They were more talking about the sport in general. So it's kind of strange because Steve Alford was obviously a star guard for the Indiana University Hoosiers. He graduated in the spring of '87, so he had already graduated by the time of when this episode is supposed to air. The college basketball season doesn't start until kind of the mid to end of November, so there wasn't even college basketball games going on at that point. And they were also talking about Reggie, who I assume was Reggie Miller, who graduated also in '87, but was drafted by the Indiana Pacers. So he would have been getting ready to start his career with the Indiana Pacers. So it was just kind of a strange little, tidbit for whoever wrote it in there to write in there, because it's kind of apropos of nothing and a little bit maybe anachronistic, maybe out of time, certainly as far as time of year that they're talking about it, but whatever. I'll let it go. I just wanted to mention it.
Maybe we'll find out in chapter 9.
It could be.
I couldn't resist. Sorry.
Conformity gate. And I'll let you handle this one because I'm sure you know much more about it than me, because I'm not big into the Lord of the Rings person. But when Mr. Clark trips the gate for Murray, he says melon, or melon, which was the password in Lord of the Rings for that Gandalf used to get into the gates of Moria. So that was kind of a neat little, nerd callback.
Now I see. It's not
yeah.
melon. It's
he said
Melloc, I think.
Yeah, melon. It was kind of
Yeah.
said,
Okay. Well, you wrote this
melon,
down and I'm like,
melon.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about. This melon.
The
now I
things,
know. Thank you for describing it.
The subtitle said melon, but he says like melon.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know enough about it to know exactly what he said, but the subtitle said melon, so that's what I wrote in there.
You know what? Hey, I'm glad you brought this up, because this gives me an opportunity to rant and rave about a part in Lord of the Rings that I don't like. Thank you for
Okay.
setting the stage.
Yeah, go for it.
Another
floor is yours.
classic move, and I used to think that I loved the Lord of the Rings. It turns out I really just love the Hobbit, because the Hobbit is far superior and fun
Yeah.
and wonderful.
It
right?
is.
And these movies are the trilogy is obviously amazing, an amazing cinematic accomplishment.
Right.
But one of the things that I always just really annoyed me was the portrayal of Frodo, because it is just completely not even close to how he is in the books. In the books, he's old and wise, and in the movies, he's like whiny and weak and ugh.
Ah,
Anyways, in the book, I believe it's either Pippin or Merry who actually are the ones who solve the riddle when they're just sitting there scratching their heads. Gandalf is trying to think of what this means. He's like, well, it's obviously a riddle. And I think it's Pippin who just finally says, wait, I think I got it. What's the Elvish word for friend? And he says it, and the gates open.
Oh,
But
there
in
you
the
go.
movie, they had to jazz up Frodo a little bit.
Gotcha.
And sorry for that tirade.
No, that's fine. I've seen them all once, and I've only read The Hobbit. Haven't read any of the books, so I'm a disappointment, I'm sure, in your and Stephen Colbert's eyes. But that's okay.
I'm not at all disappointed. Don't worry.
The other thing that I thought was just kind of an odd, random thing is before Murray gets to the gate, we have the shot of the guard with his feet up reading a magazine. And the magazine clearly says it's Commander Rick magazine or comic or whatever. And I mean, I Googled, 6 Ways to Sunday and couldn't find anything even close to like a Commander Rick comic or a Commander Rick magazine. There were all kinds of references to like, someone in the Suicide Squad, who was Commander Rick, but didn't have his own comic. So it's kind of a strange thing. So then I started thinking, maybe it was like just one of the set decorators putting their, dog's name on the, something just to, so I don't know. It was just kind of random that they would, make a Commander Rick. I mean, it kind of looked like a comic because it kind of looked like he was kind of giggling to himself or, not giggling, but chuckling or, whatever. So anyway, kind of a random thing. And then also in that set tour that I mentioned that Chris Trujillo does, it's this kind of thing. It's been there all season, but I haven't mentioned it yet. Because they rebuilt, again, all of Hawkins on a backlot. So they had to do the Melvilles and the Radio Shack and everything. And they also have Royal Furniture down at the end. And I never put 2 and 2 together, but Jess Royal is the chief set decorator for Stranger Things. And Chris said, we way down at the end there, we have Royal Furniture, of course, named after Jess Royal, our set decorator. So I just thought that was kind of a neat little touch that they would put that in. And then also in the same video, I mentioned all the details and stuff that are included in the radio station. And he was talking about how they did all the details all the way down to like this copper stripping that you can kind of see on the floor in some of the scenes, but it's very obvious in the tour that he's giving. Because you got so many wires and stuff going through the radio station, they have to put this copper, sheeting down at certain parts in the floor where the wires are, so they're kind of grounded and they, don't cause shorts and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the more I hear and see about Chris Trujillo and his, set decorator or production, he's the production designer, really. Just incredible stuff. Just really, really cool. So I encourage people to watch those. And again, we'll link to them in the socials. So. Now we can get on to music. Obviously, the episode starts with When It's Cold I Like to Die by Moby, which is played repeatedly, most recently, obviously, with Eddie's death in season 4. And then we also had the return of Carboy, which was back in the Turnbow Trap episode when they were chasing after the Demogorgon that had, escaped back into the Upside Down. So they bring that back, and that's playing when we're told to loose our balloons. So that was playing then. And then we get, we've mentioned the Butthole Surfers, so we get Human Cannonball when they're making their plan to, save the world. And
tonight's night, you're probably feeding like a human cannibal.
So yeah, Butthole Surfers album, Locust Abortion Technician, came out in March of '87. So this is time relevant and was, I'm sure, something that Mike would have gone out and gotten. And then you had mentioned, and I know it was in the thing there, the whole replacements thing, which is kind of,
I know
it's in the subtitles, but it's really hard to hear in the moment.
You can hardly hear it, but yes, Robin's arguing with him, and he, he's basically saying like, well, what would you pick? And she says, I don't know, the Replacements, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, yes. I love you, Robin.
Right.
And,
which I love considerably more than the Butthole Surfers, but absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like the Butthole Surfers needle drop a lot. I felt that it was a good vibe for that scene. And I really thought it was something that Mike Wheeler would be into.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good pick.
Totally. And then the only other song is Tom Robson's Remembering. And this was kind of an odd one because it plays, and I listened to it a couple times just to make sure, because it's prime real estate for Dixon and Stein to come up with something, but they went with Robson again. So this is during Will's coming out scene, but this is what's playing in the background. again, I mean, it's something. I mean, it's not terribly far from what Dixon and Stein have done. It was from
Hmm.
Robson's 2022 album Walking with Ghosts. So, it's just, I think it was just one that Nora happened to trip on and like for the
Hmm.
moment or something like that because they didn't have something from Dixon's side. I don't know, just strange. But yeah, so that does it for segments. Let's get into some emails. The first one
All
is
right.
from Luke. Says, first of all, could you do a follow up on the Fred Benson interview? Yeah, we interviewed Logan Riley Bruner way back when. I think it was our first bonus episode that we ever did several years ago.
Hmm.
He said Logan had mentioned Fred's backstory, and unless we get that in Tales from '85, which I doubt, maybe he could finally disclose that. Maybe I missed something, but either way, I would like him on again. I will have
We'll just
Whitney
call him
reach
right
out.
up.
Second, are you guys going to cover Tales from '85 when it comes out? Right, right. Yes, we will obviously cover Tales from '85 when it comes out. I don't think they've had a release date yet for that yet that I know of. But yes, we will definitely be all over that. Also, Luke says, Whitney, you're getting no grief about Conformity Gate from me. I didn't expect it to be real, but they did raise some good points. Clearly, lots of people believed it. It would have been an awesome fake out by the Duffers, but Whitney would know that if something small seems important, those are Peter's old school projects. It probably isn't. Then he goes on to say, well, the bridge, ugh, not great. Firstly, when Finn Wolfhard described it in one word, he used enlightening. It wasn't, says Luke. What did the audience really learn? We already knew about the wormhole at this point. I love Steve being smart and finally being the mind behind one of the plans. Mr. Clark, glad he's playing a bigger role this season. I also like how rebellious he feels when he decides to cut the string on the balloon project. That is evidently the most rebellious, exciting thing that he has done in years, and it is just being slightly unconventional with an experiment. So, good email
He was
from Luke.
jazzed up.
Yeah, he was really cool. Loose your balloons.
The more the more time is going by, the more excited I am getting kind of psyched up for that cartoon. I want to check it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it too. Yeah.
I think they picked the right time frame of the show to do it. Like
Yeah.
it's like season 3 vibe, right?
Exactly. Totally.
Season 3 is amazing and awesome.
It really is.
I'm turning into a season 3
You're a
fanboy.
convert. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, next one is from Lola. Hello, everybody. Amazing episode. Sobbed when Max woke up, like uncontrollable, convulsing, can't breathe level sobbing. I loved the use of When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die. I was expecting a death scene with that song this season, so I'm very relieved. Was anybody else severely disappointed by Elle's reaction? I noticed that too. It was a bit
I did, yeah.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Max was Elle's best friend. She looked devastated by Max's death. She brought her back to life, and she doesn't even hug her after she woke up from her 2-year-long coma. Not a great
It was
move.
kind of a half hug, but yeah, I get your point, Lola. Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah, that whole scene after the wonderful scene of her waking up with Lucas, which was just beautiful, was a bit clunky, much
Yeah.
like Will's come out at the end. It was like,
Oh, yeah, totally
what?
was.
This
Yeah,
is
no.
missing something.
Yeah, it was weird.
All right, Holly went through it this episode. It's kind of funny. Volume 1, we were all comparing Holly and Will's Vecna kidnapping experiences and how Holly is dancing, singing, and baking cakes. Now Holly is going through hell and back, literally.
Right.
Dustin hugging Nancy was the sweetest thing ever. Yes, it was. Will and Max's reunion was unexpectedly amazing. I never thought about what Will's reaction would be when Max woke up, but it was one of my favorite moments of the episode. I love how concerned Max is for Holly. They have become my favorite duo. I am after the kid that said Holly was stupid as crap. It was uncalled for. You don't talk about my top 10 characters that way. Who's that? That Thomas?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
He is a jerk.
Yeah, Thomas was. He gets referenced later in another.
Oh,
email,
yeah.
I think, in the superlatives or something. But yeah,
I wrote it.
He's a little jackass, but yeah.
Yeah, he's got a mouth on him.
Uh-huh.
And I was not having it from
Nope.
Thomas, man. I wrote it down in my notes too, but the emails took care of it. It's crazy how Henry just casually started a cult of 10-year-olds. Them chanting back to the light was so ominous. Gives me chills, not in a good way. Holly had a rite of passage in this episode. She officially became a walk 'em down wheeler. I love her whacking her best friend in the face with a sidestep. I'm only saying that because They are fictional characters. However, those children made me want to punch a wall. I'm out for blood. Leave Holly alone.
Lola's on it. I'm telling you. Stay out of her
Leave
way.
Brittany alone. And I bet those kids got really bored while waiting for Henry to light that excessive amount of candles.
Right? Yeah. It was
Oh,
like
this is an
50
all-time email,
candles.
by the way.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, this is awesome.
On a completely different note, I am so glad that Steve apologized. I'm glad Dustin apologized too, but I'm honestly mostly focused on Steve. He was a jerk to Dustin this season. Insert side eye at Douglas. And if they did not reconcile, I would have thrown my TV out the window. Now, hang on a second, Lola. Go back and listen. I was on Dustin's case, episodes 1 through 4, and then I switched and I said Steve was taking his turn being the jerk. Right? They're both absurd. Right. There's one more thing I would like to add to my collection of things I'm throwing out the window. Kelly. I don't think I need to elaborate. Here is my final list of things and people that are going out the window. 1, whoever decided to make Elle suddenly be indifferent about Max. 2, Vecna, duh. 3, all those freaking kids, again, leave Holly alone. And 4, Kelly, because yes.
Love it. That's so good.
And that's from Lola.
Yep.
All right, nice rant, Lola.
That's great. Next one's from Ellie. All I have to say is Lumax is life. Honestly, the best relationship in the entire show. If he's not like Lucas, I don't want him, okay? Also, when it's cold, I'd like to die. Making another comeback was not something I expected somehow. They really don't let you figure out whether it's a happy song or not. Like first it's Will's coming back, then it's Eddie's dying, and then it's Max coming back. Also, I was watching her coming back, and I was thinking we were really thinking she was going to be blind, LOL. I did too, kind of. And then this poor baby that is Holly can't catch a break. I swear. Also, here's a question. Why is Holly not helping Elle do anything? Do I remember wrong that she had telekinetic powers too? And then you guys are saying that Holly's best friend looks like little Marissa the librarian. I, on the other hand, keep thinking of a younger Susie every time I see her. Yeah, well, backtracking for Callie. Yeah, Callie has the ability to make stuff appear that's not really there or make people see things that's not really there. So that's her thing. She doesn't have the telekinetic powers.
I was wondering, I'm like, after the couple watches, I'm like, why wouldn't we incorporate some sort of collie powers when you're trying to storm this gate?
Right.
Like right there.
Yeah, kind of. And then, yeah, she thought that Holly's friend, that Mary looked like Susie a little bit. So, but that just makes me sad for Susie not being around. Also, Susie. Ellie says the entire Dustin Steve exchange was so healing for my heart, and I did not like Collie's suicide pact. Was I the only one that thought that Elle agreed way too fast? And yay, Will realized Mike was his Tammy and Byler's not happening. I swear, no hate to the Byler fans, but some of them were actually so bad. Can you believe I saw entire comment sections under the coming out scene clips saying, oh my God, Mike sat up straighter. Did you see his face? That was so, oh my God, my crush likes me back face. Like, really? Says Ellie. And then also, anyone else notice Malevolent was non-existent throughout season 5? And then finally, the closing shots of the candles in WVH1's ritual looking thing were gorgeous. Says Ellie. Bye. I love these fire emails. They're so good.
Yeah.
Kirsten emailed really quick. She said, I don't have a lot to say about this episode. It was quite boring to me, with my favorite part being Steve explaining. And yeah, that's about it for this week. I really did not like this episode since it was mostly filler. So yeah. That's yeah, I get it.
Going back to Ellie though, I don't know if Elle like completely agreed. You know, she didn't disagree.
Yeah, she was nodding. I mean, she was kind of doing the, when they were in the truck at the end, she did the, the little head nod. So I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, maybe she was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I got you. I'm just going to nod.
Maybe she's getting pulled by two people trying to control her destiny. That was the point,
Could
right?
be.
Like,
let the girl live, for heaven's sakes.
That's gosh darn right.
Right?
Man, almost my second GD of the episode. And, what the heck else was I? It doesn't matter. And
well, she
went the Malevolent thing that Ellie said.
Yeah,
I thought look at Elle and Mike do not have good chemistry, and they haven't since season 1.
No,
but I would say that for this season, I thought that their scenes together were some of the better ones. Even the one on the rooftop and.
The rooftop one was good. I did like that. I made a note of him being kind of ooh when she walked in the bodysuit or in the what do you call it, the wetsuit, which
Yeah.
is kind of an odd moment. But yeah, I mean, there's no real.
But their conversation on that side of the tub was pretty good.
That was
I
good.
like
Yeah,
that. You
yeah,
don't get to write the ending this time, dude.
right.
He's like, no.
But I think what Ellie's saying is there's no real coupling. There's no real,
Oh, sure.
relationshipy, lovey kind of stuff going on.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, they haven't done that since season 3, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Next one is from Christine. I found your podcast in October while rewatching all the episodes in anticipation of season 5. I would watch one episode a night and then listen to your recap of the episode the next day. It was the perfect way to enjoy the rewatch with facts and trivia added in. As a child of the 70s and graduate of high school in 1990, I relate to Colin's childhood memories the most. However, Whitney and her gaggy sound effects when talking about squelching subtitles and the ever-present dampness of the upside down always cracks me up. Whitney's retching noises are like the tire peel-outs. How many will there be in this episode?
So we gotta, we gotta like she's gotta be here, kind of, a little bit.
That's right.
She's here in spirit. So
May I suggest Whitney gets her own very special episode where she could talk about Conformity Gate. She definitely seemed to be referencing it when you recapped Escape from Camazotz, but I think I could literally hear Collin and Doug rolling their eyes at her. This is an accurate request.
Yep.
It would be great to hear what you all thought of the hype surrounding episode 9. Thanks for a great podcast. The banter between you three is a great highlight to the week. What will you do? What will we do without you? Any plans for future podcast ideas?
I don't know.
We're
weighing a couple different things. We're gonna obviously milk this for a while. So we got, next week we're gonna obviously we'll split the finale into 2 episodes. So we'll go through the story part next week, and then the week after we'll do the epilogue part, because that was essentially a movie unto itself. And then we'll do like a wrap up episode.
We'll do a season 5 wrap, right?
Yeah, we can do kind of.
I'm sure we'll get into
series.
Conformity Gate on.
Yeah, we'll get into Conformity
wrap.
Gate. I've talked about Nancy coming on and like therapizing us all, and in the wake of everything, and so yeah, I mean, we'll be around for at least a while, and then yes, we will do something, and we'll obviously do Tales from 85 too. So we're not going anywhere.
I mean, I'm into our food up podcast idea.
Oh yeah,
sure.
We're definitely doing some kind of food podcast too. Clearly, with all the Discord stuff going on, that's a thing. It was so funny. I just can't keep track. We did like a whole separate food section. It's just like all of off topic is food, which is it was great. So. All right, next email is from Harry in Seattle. Hi, Scoopers. I just wanted to like this penultimate episode of Stranger Things, and guess what? I did. Here is a handful of lukewarm takes about the bridge. First, every time I see Holly stub her stocking foot on that Dimension X rock, I get goosebumps. A Demogorgon chomping on an MP in a hospital corridor is obviously violent and horrible, but it doesn't feel all that real. Smashing your foot on a rock when you're running full tilt, though, legit makes me curl my toes. Second, I particularly like the moment when Dustin embraced Nancy, considering their history. Nancy's first appearance in the show was her slamming a door in Dustin's adorable little face. It's not until the end of season 2 that she turns that around and dances with him at the snowball, essentially telling him that everything would be all right. Dustin hugging her in this episode felt like a nice bookend for that little story, a moment where Nancy is surprised to realize how much she means to him. I say, not weird at all, Dustin. Third,
That's
as
right.
much as Yeah, it's really good. Third, as much as I love having Karen, Vicky, and Mr. Clark join our heroes in their adventures, like I really love it, this is too late in the story for remedial upside down lessons. It feels like moving backwards. I wish they had taken care of this off screen. That is kind of cool having to go back and explain everything to everybody that we've known for 4 seasons now. Speaking of things that I wish.
But then, people would be asking, when did they explain it to these people?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'm being a real smart ass.
No, it's true. It's true. Speaking of things that I wish happened off screen, there's Robin's "that's what she said" style joke during the big planning session right in front of Erica and Joyce. The writers have really liked writing for Robin this season, but this was a suspension of disbelief breaker. Not clever, not funny, not the right moment, not believable. It was weird. It was just, it fits a little bit with Robin's, kind of being on the spectrum and blurting out things at, inappropriate time, but still, yeah, I'm kind of with Harry. Fifth, all of Holly's friends are going to owe her a huge apology. I'm looking at you, Thomas, once they're safely earthbound again, especially Mary, who outed her crush on Josh to everyone. What's the point of telling secrets to your friends if you can't keep them?
No, Mary, she looks like a straight She can't keep a secret. Look at her.
God, no. God, no.
No chance.
Sixth, in the second episode of this season, Lucas theorized that Vecna was going to make his move on the anniversary of Will's disappearance. By the seventh episode, everyone has decided that he's right, and he is. But I must have missed the moment when Henry explained why 11/6 was important, significant, or necessary. Did that happen? I don't recall that specific date being referenced. It was just that date.
I was waiting for something, and it's not ruining my day, but I'm like, oh, I guess Vecna just kind of likes doing things.
Yeah.
In early November.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the Duffer's dog's birthday for all we know, but yeah, they never explained that particular date. So, and then finally, Harry says it's only the upteenth rewatch that I noticed that one of the last shots of our heroes as they race across the Upside Down, almost right before the end credits, shows Elle and Collie giving each other a tiny nod. That's what we were just mentioning. The great suicide pact. Thanks, folks. Harry in Seattle. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Always good from Harry. Next one is from Calum. Ahoy, Collin, Whitney, and Doug. I'm Calum from the UK. I'm a long-time listener, but this is my first time emailing. I've watched Stranger Things from the beginning. 3 years ago, I got with my girlfriend, Hannah, and asked her if she'd watch the show with me as I wanted somebody to watch the fifth and final season with. She told me she hates scary shows, so we made a deal. She could choose 10 films that I have to watch. The deal has massively backfired on me as she has, so far, chosen a lot of bad rom-coms, whereas she now absolutely loves the show.
Oh, that's not okay.
She's the one who discovered this podcast, and we love listening to it together. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Stranger Things has had a big impact on the music charts in the UK. Songs from The Clash, Diana Ross, Fleetwood Mac, The Police, David Bowie, Tiffany, and Kate Bush have returned to the top 40. Most impressively, Dijo. It's Dijo, right?
It's Joe. It's pronounced Joe.
Just Joe.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. I am not up on that. I apologize for that cringy interpretation. Sorry,
Joe.
kids.
Joe.
Joe is at number one with the ending of beginning. Or end of beginning.
Yep.
Speaking of Joe, we love Steve. The little thing we picked up on in this episode was how he held Robin's shoulder during Will's coming out speech. It was the perfect reassurance for her. I like that too, yes.
I do too.
Keep
that was
up
really cool.
the good work.
All right. So Hannah, if you're listening, give your boy Caleb a little break and maybe knock 2 of the movies off the 10 that he has to watch.
Yeah, I wonder what rom-coms are.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
well, there are some rom-coms that are good, but
Yeah. Are you usually down on rom-coms or up on rom-coms?
It's so hit and miss. I mean, if it's if it's like the hallmarky cheesy gooey stuff.
Well, sure. No, I'm talking about quality ones.
Yeah. I mean, When Harry Met Sally, all day long.
Yes.
Twice.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Yes.
That kind. Yeah. The well-written, well-acted. Yes.
When Harry Met Sally is like in my top 5 movies, I think.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah. Or Hannah, if you haven't done When Harry Met Sally, do When Harry Met Sally.
Watch that one.
Make that be one of the 10. So that's a good one.
Fantastic.
All right. Last email is from Christian. He calls it grammar slapdown. I knew this was coming. Hello there. I'm not usually a pedant, but I had to write in and correct Collin on his bold claim that there is no such word as disassociate. I, along with the other 2 hosts, thought you were talking poppycock, and a cursory glance at the Googs confirmed just that. To disassociate means to separate yourself from a person, group, or idea. For example, if you end a friendship with your longtime buddies because you value honesty and they do not, you are disassociating from them. This term often indicates an intentional effort to distance oneself from certain people, organizations, beliefs, or behaviors that are no longer acceptable to you so that you are no longer associated with them. But top marks for your commitment, Collin, from Christian. So yes, I misspoke. Yes, there is a word disassociate in this context. All I was saying was that Nancy used the wrong word. Nancy was using the psychological term, which is dissociate. So disassociated should not have been used in that moment. So yes, there is a word disassociate. It does not mean the same as dissociate, which is used in psychological context and refers to like the mental process where a person separates themselves from their thoughts or feelings or a sense of identity. So not from your buddies, but from your, psychological stuff. So you are correct,
I'll let
Christian.
you slide, Collin.
I am also correct. So, we will go there. Yes. I know what I meant. So just because you couldn't read my mind,
Excellent retcon. Excellent.
That's right.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. Alrighty, let's bring it home.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, superlatives. Best line. We'll start there. I went with Steve and his whole beanstalk plan.
And when it's close enough and the radio tower is poking through one of the rifts, bam. Elle makes her move, she does her meditation thingy, enters Vecna's sick mind, and ambushes him. In your face, dickhead.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It was good. Whitney, in her absence, did submit her best line, and she went with Murray going through the Max Z gate.
Showtime, Snookums.
It's just the whole Snookums thing. It's just so good. I actually wonder if Murray or if Brett, suggested they keep that in, and he made that. I could totally see that being a Brett thing. I'm just gonna keep on calling him Snookums through the whole season
Every single time.
Really yeah. So.
My pick was Max and Lucas discussing the infamous song.
All right.
Are you?
Not really a line, but I get what you say. Yeah. She said she wasn't sick of the song, and are you? It's like, yes. Yeah, I kind of am.
Yes, I am.
Luke emailed in and said, this is a fun kind of throwaway one that I doubt anyone will pick. He went with Karen when she's trying to wrap her head around all that's going on.
Are you saying that Holly is trapped under a steel plate?
Yeah, exactly. Lola went back to Murray and his consternation with good old Snookums.
Expedient? We've been building a goddamn balloon experiment for 6 hours.
She gave honorable mention to We Don't Need a Magic Bean, which is also a good one. And then Ellie went with Steve, pretty much, wrapping up the whole plan.
Sisters kill their brother, we rescue the kiddos, come home heroes.
Yeah, so there you go. Those are our best lines.
All right, we got most spirited. I went with Steve's leather jacket.
Oh, that was a good one, yeah.
I love them gearing up and the Butthole Surfers playing. I was getting pumped up during that scene.
Yep. I went with it's been there all season, but And I went back and I watched a couple episodes, and it wasn't something that was really obvious. I mean, now that it's there, you can kind of see it, but it was never really presented full freeze frame front and center in front of your brain like it is in this one. And it's Glenn's ET phone home shirt, which I thought was really good. So I went that route.
Whitney went with the paint tree from Dark Crystal.
Yep.
That we mentioned in the movies. And Ellie agreed with you, Collin. And Lola said, literally no idea.
That's the problem we have when they kind of, dispatch the nostalgia. There's not really much to do. Yeah.
Yes. Next, we have the most Stranger Thing. I went with the kid cult stuff. Freaked me out. Didn't like it. I didn't like the To the Light chant. I did not like the kids overwhelming Holly and then choking her out, calling her names, pushing her down the stairs. Ugh.
Yeah, that was messed up, dude. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yes. Yeah, it was gross.
I went with we talked about it, the Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo and Carbonite, when Vecna is leading Holly back and she's just kind of floating there along behind him. So that was mine.
Luke went with the same as me, children's brutality towards Holly. Holy cow, Thomas is a turd burglar. Thomas sucks, man.
He does suck.
At first, you liked him in the beginning because he was the only one that mouthed back to Derek.
Right. Yep.
Total flip-flop. Lola said the end with the kids. Beck's in the chair. Ellie went with the ritualistic chanting of Back to the Light. So creepy, yeah.
It was, yeah.
And
all right, last one is MVP. I really went out on a limb here, but I'm gonna die on this hill too, Christian. So you can email me about this if you want to too. I went with Winona Ryder. I thought she was really, really good in this episode, and it was so good that you didn't really even notice that she was there, which is kind of what I go by. I mean, unless it's an outstanding acting performance. I just really loved her performance. Especially going off of Noah in the scene at the beginning of it's not my fault, it's all my fault. And then her scenes during his coming out, you're never going to lose me. I just thought it was just a really quiet, very maternal, felt natural scene from Winona. I just thought she did a really, really good job. So that's kind of the route I went. There wasn't really anybody that really kind of stood out. I mean, I've been saying Dustin and Joe or Gaten and Joe forever, so I wanted to do something different from them. But yeah, that's where I went.
No, it was a tricky one, but yeah, I
Yeah,
like that Winona pick because I liked her in that scene with Hopper too that we were talking about earlier.
yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah,
Where he says he's going to kill Callie,
yep,
but she simply just asks Hop because he says she thinks I don't believe in her,
yeah,
and she says, "Well, have you talked to her about it?"
yeah,
He doesn't answer.
right,
He's like,
yeah,
"That's not what I asked you."
yeah. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Whitney went
Busted,
with
Hopper.
yeah, Whitney went with Dustin and Gayton and Steve saying not you. And I completely forgot to say when we talked about earlier the I die you die bit or you die I die bit,
Oh yeah,
which is really good. We forgot to mention it up at the top. But yeah, I thought that whole scene with Gayton and Joe was just so good and really needed and really felt natural and heartfelt
hmm
after the crap that they've been through all season long, or they put each other through all season long. So yeah.
yeah. No surprise here. I went with Sadie Sink. I'm super happy to be able
Wait a
to do
sec.
so.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
She's so good. She's perfect in that opening.
Yep.
She cries better than anybody.
Yeah, she is really good. I mean, just think
And
of, like all the talent the Duffers or Carmen or whoever you want to, blame.
yeah,
But the talent they've discovered in these kids and the teens, both, just really, really good.
beyond that, she just had a couple really good moments even later in the episode that were very subtle. That
Yeah.
I mentioned, she gives a great look during Will's coming out.
Yep.
And then she also gives a real good look when she realizes that, Holly is trapped when
Yeah.
she's on the tour of the squawk.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that bit.
really,
Oh, yeah, when Dustin was
really
playing
hit.
or when
Mhm.
Lucas was playing the burp cart,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she just her face just melts. Yeah, it was really, really
hmm
good. Luke went with Steve. He came up with the plan. Lola went with Caleb for actor and Holly for character. Yeah, Caleb was really good too.
He was.
Just in this little short scene, but dude can cry like no one's business.
Yep.
Ellie went with Caleb and Sadie purely for the first few minutes of the episode because they are so good. And then
hmm
Caleb went with Jamie Campbell Bower. He's simultaneously terrifying and charming. God, he is. Plus, he seems like the nicest guy in any interview. He also is. I met him at
I know,
Comic
right?
Con in Montreal a couple years ago, and he was just the coolest dude. I mean, just very natural, very. But then, especially around, I think I mentioned the thing that he did with Nell. It was like a little, you know, head to head question kind of thing, and
hmm
he's just like, Big Papa Bear to Nell, and
hmm
he's just such a great dude. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that'll do it. Skips Ahoy will be back to start to wrap it all up next week. We're going to tackle Chapter 8, the series finale. As I mentioned, we are going to split it up, so we're going to take our time with it and give you guys an extra week. So next week, it's The Right Side Up Part 1. So it'll be through to the start of the epilogue. So like the first hour and 15 minutes, obviously, you all know where the break is. So that's what we're going to do. So get your emails for just that section of the final chapter to us by Sunday, January 18th. The next episode will be January 22nd, and we will see you then.
All right. Awesome. And if you want to get in touch with the show, email us at scoopsahoypod@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and the Discord. Please leave a rating, or better yet, a review on iTunes. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you tune in next time. Thanks, and bye.
Bye. Stranger Things audio clips and official score are the property of Netflix. Incidental music by Blue Mount Score from Pixabay.